welcome back to the life of Lolly. So as you saw from the title, this topic is a very sensitive one. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have had a heavy heart over the last couple of weeks. There's a lot of people that are on the side of don't ask Black people anything, they don't need to educate you, they don't need to help you research yourself. But racism is rooted in ignorance. I, for one, I'm not going to sit around whilst a whole new generation of racists are being breeded. It's not going to happen, not on my watch. So if it means I have to educate people, if it means I need to speak out, share my experiences, I'm going to do so, because I know some of you will not get up and do the research that you need to do. So I'll take one for the team. So in today's video, I'm going to give 5 tips on how to raise anti-racist kids. And I will give the narrative for Black children also, because we are also, believe it or not, we do grow up in this racist society as well. So the racist, I don't know why I'm doing this because it actually happened. So the racial conditioning that happened does not discriminate. We as Black children grow up learning the same things that you as white people learn as well. So we also need to unlearn a lot of the behaviours, beliefs that the world has taught us about what Black people can achieve, what Black people can be. Representation matters, and as we've seen, the lack of that also negatively impacts Black people too. So yeah, this video is kind of for everyone, but it's just going to give you tips on what to do and how to start the conversation with your child. Some people are not really sure on whether it's necessary to tell or speak to their child about racism right now. I'm going to insert a video and I'm going to show you exactly why you need to be starting now, okay?
Who ate them all?
Someone come round and they just ate them all.
Someone come round and ate the cakes?
Yeah.
So someone broke into a home and ate Mr. Kipling's Angel Slices. Didn't take the TV, didn't take, some jewellery. They took these cakes.
And it was a Black man.
Oh my God!
Right, so I'm pretty sure you're all just as astounded as I am. Right there, that's right there is Amy Cooper Jr. That is where Amy Cooper began. That girl's probably around 3 to 4 years old. And from that age, she knew, or she has already learned, who she can apportion crime and blame that on. She already knows. She didn't say any other race. She said, oh, and it was a Black man. She knew exactly why she said a Black man. Sounds believable. It couldn't be her that stole it. It's got to be a Black man. Now, her parents may not have explicitly ever said anything racist. They might not have. But what society is teaching you, what you're seeing on the TV, what the culture is teaching you, what your parents are aiding, I'm going to use the word aiding because the reaction of the mother, that reaction, that is exactly where the problem lies. Your child has said something that you know is offensive and you laugh. What is the message you're sending to your child? Your child is also smiling as if what she has said is a great thing. You are making her think it's acceptable to make these sort of statements and judgments like it's funny. It's not funny at all. It's not funny in the slightest. Even though when I first came across that video, I literally, that laugh of, like, are you kidding me? Is this real? You need to be talking to your child from the minute they can talk clearly, because again, Black people don't get to choose when they're going to have that discussion with their child, because 9 times out of 10, your child is going to experience a racist situation, or someone says a racist remark to them, and you're going to have to talk to your child about it. So if it's okay for a 4-year-old black child to be spoken to about racism, then there's no problem talking to your white child about that either. As early as 3 years old, children begin classifying people by their race, choosing their friendship groups based on race, and these are all reasons as to why you need to teach your child about racism and how to be anti-racist from as early as possible. In the processing of everyday information that they're getting from society, you want to debunk the myths and the lies that society has told and taught them about specific racial groups. A lot of people are looking to America like, oh my god, like racism is so bad over there, UK is not. No, just because the race relations in the UK have improved over time does not erase it from our history. We are not innocent. I'm saying we like I'm part of you. You are not innocent. You're not. The UK are not innocent in this, so don't ever get it twisted like, well, this doesn't happen to black people in the UK. It happens. By having the anti-racist conversation with your child, you give your child an awareness of racial injustice and equality, and doing this helps them respond appropriately to discrimination, whether it be to stand up for another person, or if they are the victim, to know how to respond effectively and appropriately. And either way, what you do say is not enough. They're still going to form their own biases based on what they learn. So what you say is not going to be the be all and end all, but you still need to do your part. That doesn't mean you get away with it. I'm not being funny, but if the UK think it's okay to teach children sexual education from a very early age, the laws are now changing regarding that, and it's now going to be compulsory to teach children as young as 6, I believe, about sexual education. Why do you think you can't teach your child about racism? Let's be fair here. If you want to prepare them for that sort of thing, prepare them for the reality of what you have done to black people for centuries. Number 1, you want to call your child out when you hear them making any form of microaggressions. So microaggressions are the little jabs, the little insults that are not very overt, that happen over a period of time towards people of colour, black people. And I'm going to say that because microaggression was formed by a black psychologist, and as usual, people came in and took the black man's idea and said, no, we're going to apply it to everything else. Sexual orientation, gender, yada, yada, yada. No, the person that formed it was talking about black people. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Children tend to make a lot of microaggressions and pick up also on the microaggressions of adults. So first of all, you need to educate yourself on the microaggressions you say that you come across, but also call your child out if you hear them making any such statements. They appear in many different ways. In these microaggressions are coded messages that are disapproval of someone's identity. Make sure you make that clear to your child in the discussion. Why does your mum dress like that? She looks funny. You're going to call your child out on that. Every single time you hear any sort of statement like that, call them out on it. Tell them, no, we don't say things like that. Actually, they're really hurtful to people. Even if you didn't mean it, you might not have been doing it intentionally, but it does actually hurt someone. And if you do it and someone else does it and someone else does it, all these little things, all these little nuggets are going to pile up and end up negatively impacting your friend. It's just not kind. You want to use kind words to your friends, and this is not a kind way to say things. Or like the one we always get, what's your name? Loladay. Loladay, that's a funny name. But it's not. It's my name. And it's not that hard. Oh, can we just call you Lolly? Well, no, because if I told you my name is Loladay, my name is Loladay. And if you can say holiday, then I think you can say Loladay. Those are the microaggressions that are not necessary, and they lead to chronic trauma, actually. Chronic micro trauma, let me put it that way. You keep on doing these jabs from the child is age 3, and they keep on getting this constantly all the way up until adulthood, what do you think that's going to do to someone? Like, what do you think that's going to do to someone's self-worth, self-esteem? It's not rocket science, so just stop. Research on what microaggressions are. If you commit any, apologize for them. If someone calls you out and does not approve of what you said, don't try and argue back. Don't try and worm your way out of it and say, it's not that deep, or no, you're just being too sensitive. No, if somebody is calling you out on how you have offended them, you listen, period. That's it. There's no arguments. And explain that to your child as well. Even if you didn't mean it, even if it was unintentional, you have still hurt someone's feelings. So you need to own that. And they need to be learning that from a very early age. Take accountability and responsibility for the things you do and the things you say. Tip number 2, find friends from a different social and cultural background. Right. There's only so much you can say. You need to lead by example. And if all your friends are white, all your neighbours are white, the restaurants you go to are white people, the parks you go to full of white people, the play dates they go on are full of white people, what does that tell your child? It's not diverse enough. So if you intentionally want to take a stand against racism, you need to show your child in different ways, different realms of society, of how you combat racism, how you are anti-racism. Find black friends. I don't care how. Find black friends. Go to places that are out of your comfort zone. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy at first, especially if it's something that you're kind of new to. But believe it or not, there are some black people who have things in common with you. We are human. Is it that your child has black friends in class, and so when it's your child's birthday party, you're happy to have them come over to your house? But when it's that black child's birthday party, you're not going because you don't want to be the only white woman there. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Step out of your comfort zone and just do what you got to do, because you're doing the best for your child. You do not want to raise the next Amy Cooper. Trust me. So encourage your child to make friends with children from different races and backgrounds, talk about their cultures, etc., etc. Tip number 3, introduce books to your children that have diverse characters. In these books, also look out for what roles the people of colour are playing in these books. It still sends a message to your child if the black people are always the sub-characters, or they're never the main character, they're never the superhero, they're never the princess, they're never the prince, the king, they're never that, they're always the shopkeeper. Those type of messages are also, even though that's not your fault, but those things are also feeding into the systemic racism that affects everyone. When you are looking out for books, try and also have a read through the book yourself, just to kind of see if there are any microaggressions you could pick up on and talk about with your child at the end. But expose them to many different cultures within these books. Children love reading. Sharing different stories of children that look completely different is okay for them. They can accept that. It's when you get a bit older, that's when you start forming these funny views. But use puppets if you need to discuss possible situations or outcomes that maybe go on at nursery. If you think it's a bit difficult to just sit down and have a conversation with your child, you can do it in the form of a puppet show and play out a scenario where one puppet is being racist to the other. Ask your child questions based on that, and just make it fun, make it play based, but ensure they understand. In the same way that you teach your child it's important to be kind, that sort of setup, you can also do that with the discussions of race. But please make sure to remember that when you're describing what racism is to your child, you're not just saying, racism is when you say mean things to someone. No, make sure you say what it is. It is linked to the race of it is linked to someone's skin color. being mean and saying unkind things to someone because of their skin color. That is exactly what it is. So you want to make sure you differentiate between just being unkind and being unkind because of someone's race. Tip number 4, making sure to buy toys and play materials that are also culturally diverse. Let me give you a little tip here. What you need to do is you need to overcompensate for what society has done to us. So if that means you need to overdo it, you need to overdo it. If you've got maybe 5 dollies, you better have 4 that are black and 1 that's white. You need to undo it. You need to undo what society has told and talk to your child about what black people are like, what they can achieve, what they do, where they work, how they behave. All those things, you need to undo it. So whatever it's going to take for you to undo, do it. Make sure your child is seeing enough colour around the house, in the books, on the shows that they watch on TV, in their neighbourhoods. You need to do the most. And the last tip, tip number 5, is to learn about different cultures, learn about different races, and learn about the history of different races. Learn about Black history, not only on Black History Month, all year round. Teach your child about different things. I'm sure there's so many things in your area that can help. Museums, forums. There's so much information out there if you are looking for the correct information. But be proactive in teaching your child about different cultures. As a child, you grow up with quite an egocentric view. You gravitate towards sameness, and so you need to combat that by doing the opposite. And there are certain implicit biases that your child will just inherently pick up on, which are unconscious perceptions of specific attributes to a particular group of people. Those things are inevitable, they do happen, but it's just to make sure that you're also sending across the correct message intentionally. There are certain things that will happen based on implicit bias, but you can counteract that. If you think about when you're going shopping, who do you go to at the checkouts? If you need help, what type of person do you ask? When you're walking past a group of Black boys, how do you behave when you're holding your child, as opposed to how you would behave if it was a group of white people? Seek out Black history, utilize the resources around you in your local community. And if there aren't any in your local community, then go out of your local community. This is an intentional thing that you're trying to do. It's not just, well, if it's not on my doorstep, I'm not doing it. No, you need to actually take action, and that action might mean you stepping out of your comfort zone, and you're going to have to do that. These are the little things that your child is looking at and picking up on. How do you communicate about Black people? Like, for example, if you just say, oh, I was on the bus, right, and this Black man, ... you know, whatever you say next after that Black man, your child is going to make the link that, okay, Black men and whatever's coming next. So if you say, and this Black man was so loud, this Black man was so violent, whatever's coming next sends a message to your child. If you feel the need to add our race into there, you better be adding our race into when you're reading stories and the Black man is a firefighter. You're saying, yeah, Black people can be firefighters too. Or, yeah, Black people can be judges. Yeah, they are very successful. Yeah, they are. You need to overcompensate for what you've done to us. That's what you need to do. And if your child does say some remarks that are not necessarily appropriate, because they may not have the correct language to use at that point, but gently correct them when they are using these things. It's not the end of the world when you do correct them. They will bounce back and get on with life. But just make sure to correct them. Don't just laugh it off or shrug it off like, oh, they didn't really mean it like that. No, because that's where it starts from. So yeah, hopefully these tips were beneficial for you and can catapult you in the right direction towards an anti-racist society that we need ever so much, we long for, that we have longed for many, many years. And please, let me just put this out there, right? If you are white, right? If you're white and you are expecting some form of applause or thank you for speaking up against racism, it's just not on. Do the right thing because you should be doing the right thing as a human being on this earth. I'm going to give this analogy, right? Let's just say, for example, you burned down my house, right? Everything is gone. You burned down my house, like my furniture, gone. My clothes, gone. My pictures, everything in my house is burnt to smithereens, okay? So I am now left sleeping on the streets, yeah? I'm sleeping on the streets and my house is burnt to ashes to the ground. I then begin rebuilding this house. It's not as nice as it was before. And then you come along and you're like, oh my goodness, let me help buy your new sofas. Bear in mind, you burnt my house down. Do I say thank you? Should I be thankful that you're coming to buy new sofas for my house, even though you burnt my house down in the first place? Everything that I had is gone because of you. Yet you expect me to be thankful and forever grateful that you're helping to buy me a new sofa. No, it doesn't work that way. You buy me a new sofa is not going to undo the time that I spent living on the streets, the labor that it took me to rebuild my house, the sentiments and things that were lost in this fire that I can never regain back. Your sofa cannot change any of that. For those of you who are commenting when white people post like, well done, you've done such a brave thing, and stop, because you're just feeding into the same system. Do not expect an applause do not expect some sort of award or trophy for doing the right thing, for being a human. You should be anti-racist anyway. So I know a lot of white people are worried, nervous, in a panic mode almost. And a lot of black people don't have time for your emotions because it's not about you, it's about us. However, I'm sensitive to the fact that a lot of people are scared. They don't really know what to say, so they don't really want to say anything in case they say the wrong thing, and so they're just posting out of fear of being called a racist rather than posting for the right reasons. I just want to encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. You're going to be uncomfortable because it's an uncomfortable situation. It's uncomfortable for you, it's uncomfortable for us, but it's your family. It's your family. So at the end of the day, how uncomfortable can you really be in your own family? If you think you're not really that racist, it shouldn't be that uncomfortable for you. You should be okay having this conversation with your children. You should be okay having this conversation with your parents. I'm aware that it is, for a lot of people, it's something they didn't think was necessary to speak on, but you just need to be honest with yourself and honest with the people around you. A lot of people have taken their position in society for granted. You've never really respected or cared about how maybe your black colleagues feel or how life is for them. So yeah, rightly so, you should feel uncomfortable. You should. But as I always say, with honesty comes the opportunity for education, and if you are ready to step out and make a change, you will probably step on people's toes. You will probably say the wrong thing here or there, and you'll be checked on it. But then you move forward. You can't learn if you're choosing to remain ignorant. You will have to say the things that you want to say, or the things that you're actually thinking, like, what is really the big deal of me touching a black girl's hair? Like, what's the issue? You're still thinking that, even though you're posting on Instagram, but you'll still go back to work tomorrow and say, oh, let me touch your hair. you haven't understood, you don't really understand, and you don't understand because you're not being honest with yourself, you're not being honest with the Black people around you. Some Black people don't want to have that conversation with you, and they have the right to, whereas I'm happy to be a listening ear to all the ignorant questions that you might have. Feel like you have any questions that you want to ask, or anything that you're not too sure about, or you don't feel comfortable maybe asking any Black people you know, then drop me a message in the comments and I'm more than happy to, you know, talk about it with you. That's just me. That's not the case for every Black person. Some Black people don't want to hear a word, and they have the right to. All Black people want is just to be equal. Can you imagine? After all that he's done to us, all we want is to be equal. We're not even trying to get revenge. Not even going for that. We actually just want to be equal. So can you just allow it? Like, just allow it. It shouldn't be this hard, and it shouldn't take people dying or protesting before you decide that this is not good enough. So anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully you learned something. Please share it with every white person you know, just to make the conversation a little bit easier for you guys at home. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please leave comments down below. You can follow me on Instagram. I'll be doing some follow-up tips on there as well. And yeah.